Obinna struggles to provide for his family. Chief Emeka's offer to sponsor Uchechi's education seems like a miracle. Reluctantly, he agrees to send her to Abuja, hoping it's the best decision. Tears fall as Uchechi boards the bus. Her mother, Adebi, whispers prayers for her safety. Obinna feels a pang of regret, but the promise of a better future reassures him. Chief Emeka's mansion dazzles Uchechi. She is in awe of the luxurious surroundings and promises herself to make her parents proud. Emeka's wife, Flora, greets her warmly. The servants' fearful glances unsettle Uchechi. Flora's overly sweet demeanor feels hollow. Emeka, while polite, has an unnerving intensity in his gaze that she cannot shake off. Uchechi's movements are restricted. She's told to stay indoors and focus on her studies. Her phone calls to her parents are monitored. She begins to feel trapped. Uchechi's voice trembles during her weekly call home. Obinna notices her hesitation but dismisses it as homesickness. Adebi grows anxious, sensing something is amiss. Uchechi overhears hushed conversations between Emeka and Flora. Their tone is sinister, mentioning payment and obedience. Fear grips her as she questions her safety. Curiosity drives Uchechi to explore the mansion's forbidden wing. She finds a locked room with eerie sounds emanating from within. She's caught and harshly reprimanded by Flora. Adebi dreams of Uchechi crying for help. She shares her fears with Obinna, who dismisses it as anxiety. But doubt begins to creep into his mind. Uchechi notices bruises on a servant girl, who whispers, "You must escape." Before she can ask more, Flora appears, silencing the servant with a single look. Uchechi's call is abruptly disconnected when she tries to tell her father something important. Obinna tries calling back but is told she's unavailable. Obinna grows suspicious of Emeka's vague responses. He begins to question if sending Uchechi away was truly the right decision. Uchechi secretly writes a letter detailing her fears and gives it to a sympathetic driver. She begs him to deliver it to her parents. The driver mysteriously disappears before delivering the letter. Uchechi realizes the extent of Emeka's control and influence. Fear consumes her. Adebi's unease worsens. She begs Obinna to visit Abuja and check on Uchechi. Reluctantly, he agrees and begins planning his journey. A neighbor warns Obinna against trusting Emeka, sharing rumors of his dark dealings. Obinna brushes it off but cannot shake the growing dread. Obinna arrives at Emeka's mansion. The lavish hospitality feels staged. Uchechi's first smile raises alarms, but she's unable to speak freely. Late at night, Uchechi sneaks into Obinna's room. In whispered urgency, she reveals her fears and the oppressive environment she's trapped in. Emeka warns Obinna to stay out of family matters, subtly threatening him. Obinna realizes the depth of Emeka's power and influence. Obinna devises a plan to get Uchechi out. He contacts an old friend in Abuja for help, knowing time is against them. Flora discovers Obinna's plan and informs Emeka. The mansion's security tightens, leaving Uchechi more isolated than ever. A servant reveals a hidden tunnel leading out of the mansion. Obinna and Uchechi prepare for a risky escape. Emeka's men discover the escape attempt. A heart-pounding chase ensues as Obinna and Uchechi flee into the night. They find refuge in a safe house provided by Obinna's friend. But danger looms as Emeka's men search relentlessly. The friend reveals shocking truths about Emeka's illegal activities, including human trafficking. Obinna is horrified by the danger Uchechi faced. Back home, Adebi senses trouble and prays fervently for their safety. Her faith gives her strength to believe in their escape. The safe house is compromised. Betrayed by someone they trusted, Obinna and Uchechi are forced to flee again. They narrowly escape an ambush, relying on Obinna's quick thinking. Uchechi's fear and trust in her father deepen. Obinna contacts a sympathetic police officer who agrees to help expose Emeka's crimes. But corruption within the force complicates matters. Uchechi recalls Emeka's secret documents in the forbidden wing. Obinna realizes they need those files to bring Emeka down. Disguised, Obinna sneaks back into the mansion to retrieve the files. The tension is unbearable as he avoids detection. Obinna finds the locked room and discovers horrifying evidence of Emeka's crimes. He takes photos and flees with the files. Emeka's men discover Obinna in the mansion. A desperate fight ensues, and Obinna barely escapes with the evidence. The evidence exposes Emeka's network of crimes, shocking the community. Public outrage grows, and the police are pressured to act. Emeka is arrested, but his wealth and connections make the case uncertain. Obinna fears justice may not be served. Flora, guilt-ridden, confesses her involvement. Her testimony strengthens the case against Emeka, turning the tide. Uchechi finally returns home. The family is overjoyed but haunted by the trauma she endured. Uchechi begins therapy to heal from her ordeal. Adeabi and Obinna vow never to repeat their mistake. Obinna shares his story with the community, warning parents about the dangers of sending their children away. Emeka's trial ends in a guilty verdict. The community celebrates, but Obinna's family remains cautious, knowing justice isn't always guaranteed. News of Emeka's crimes spreads nationwide. Journalists descend on Obinna's village, eager to interview Uchechi and her family. Activists rally for stricter laws to protect children. Uchechi becomes a symbol of resilience, inspiring others to share their stories. From prison, Emeka vows revenge. His allies outside plot to intimidate Obinna's family, escalating their fear and vigilance. Adeabi organizes community prayers, seeking divine protection. Her unwavering faith becomes a source of strength for the family. Emeka's men vandalize Obinna's home. The family narrowly escapes harm. Authorities promise protection, but fear lingers. Obinna's friend forms a protective network, enlisting trusted allies to guard the family. Tensions remain high as threats persist. Uchechi speaks publicly about her ordeal. Her emotional testimony moves the nation and sparks renewed calls for justice reform. An anonymous donor sponsors Uchechi's education abroad, ensuring her safety. The family hesitates but ultimately accepts the opportunity. More victims come forward, revealing the extent of Emeka's crimes. His empire crumbles, and his influence wanes. The family relocates to a nearby town, seeking peace. Uchechi adjusts to her new school, slowly regaining her confidence. Obinna reflects on the importance of vigilance and trust. He becomes an advocate for parental awareness, sharing his story nationwide. One of Emeka's allies resurfaces, seeking revenge. Obinna prepares for another battle, determined to protect his family at all costs. Flora, now in hiding, provides Obinna with crucial information about Emeka's remaining network, helping him thwart their plans. A tense showdown between Obinna and Emeka's men leaves the community shaken. Obinna's bravery earns him respect. Neighbors rally to support Obinna's family, proving that unity can overcome fear. The family feels safer knowing they are not alone. Uchechi's therapy progresses, helping her reclaim her joy. She begins mentoring younger girls, sharing her story of survival and hope. Adeabi publicly thanks the community for their support. Her heartfelt speech inspires others to speak out against injustice. Uchechi decides to study law, determined to fight for the rights of vulnerable children. Her family beams with pride. Emeka's appeals are denied. His life sentence restores faith in the justice system and brings closure to his victims. The family rebuilds their lives, stronger and closer than ever. Uchechi's determination to make a difference keeps them hopeful. Uchechi's law studies open doors to international conferences. She begins advocating for children's rights on a global scale, inspiring change far beyond her village. Adeabi establishes a foundation for at-risk children, using her family story to promote awareness and prevention of child exploitation. Flora, after serving her sentence, seeks forgiveness from Obinna's family. Her remorse and commitment to change bring unexpected closure. Obinna struggles but ultimately forgives Flora. This act of grace strengthens his family and sets an example of healing through forgiveness. Obinna remains vigilant, ensuring Emeka's allies cannot harm his family again. His protective measures bring a sense of security. Uchechi is invited to speak at a national summit on children's welfare, her story resonating with leaders and policymakers. A former ally of Emeka flips sides, providing vital information to Obinna that dismantles remaining threats from Emeka's network. Uchechi's advocacy leads to legislative changes, with new laws enacted to safeguard children from trafficking and abuse. The village thrives as Obinna's story inspires communal efforts to protect and educate children, fostering a culture of vigilance. Uchechi receives a scholarship for further studies abroad. Her pursuit of justice fuels her determination to become a beacon of hope. The family adjusts to Uchechi's absence, their bond strengthened by letters and calls. Adebi's prayers continue to guide their lives. Uchechi vows to return and use her education to uplift her community, keeping her parents' sacrifices in her heart. Adebi's foundation grows, reaching neighboring villages. Women's groups form alliances to ensure no child endures what Uchechi faced. Obinna builds a new home for his family, a symbol of their resilience and fresh beginnings after years of turmoil. Graduating with honors, Uchechi dedicates her success to her parents and all children who dream of a better future. The village celebrates Uchechi's return, proud of her achievements. She shares her vision for empowering the next generation. Uchechi begins working with international organizations, merging her advocacy and legal expertise to create lasting change. Obinna reflects on the journey, realizing the strength in unity. His community's support saved his family and brought justice. Uchechi inspires young girls to dream beyond their circumstances, proving that resilience and education can break any cycle. The family story becomes a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, light can prevail through faith, unity, and courage.